Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Bouncing Back with Brighton. In today's episode we're going to face AS Monaco in the second leg of our first knockout round in the Champions League. We're also going to play a home tie against Chelsea in the Premier League. Only two games to talk about since the crushing defeat against Liverpool in the League Cup final, the first of which was a 3-0 away win against Wolves. We played quite a heavily rotated side due to the risk of injury to some of our main players. Rodrigo Marquez got two after starting on the left-hand side, not even playing up front, and Abilio Neves got one from left-back. We were then away from home against West Ham United. We went down 1-0 after Felipe Anderson gave West Ham the lead in the 13th minute. But thankfully we bounced back. Insfran, Gravenberch and Carlos Julio getting the goals after they had a man sent off. So we won 3-1. And the Premier League table is definitely looking a lot more favourable than it was a couple of months ago. We currently sit top of the table, 2 points clear from Manchester City, who are our nearest rival now after Liverpool have completely fell off the face of the earth. We have 2 games in hand on them as well. So if we were to win both, which is a reasonable assumption, we will be 8 points clear at the top of the table with only, if we play our game in hand, there are only 10 games left. Sounds like a pretty good spot to me. But that leads us into the second leg against Monaco. Just to refresh your memory, we did beat them 2-1 away from home in the first leg. Gravenberch and Sebastian Jaros with the goals. They did get that late goal to bring themselves back into the tie. But hopefully at home we can do the business and get through to the next round. Not too many concerns in terms of injuries or fitness for many of our players right now. The only real injury is Alvarado, who's currently out, but he's not one of our main players anyway, so it's not too big of a deal. This is going to be the starting lineup for today's game. Antonio Carlos in goal, Valentin, Gonçalves, Juric and Carlos Julio in the defence, Betty and Aquino in the centre, Sebastian Jaros, Gravenberch and Insfran in the attack midfield roles, with David Ibrahim leading the line. In terms of our bench, Jeremy Doku is returning from injury, Bert Jacobs, Nathan Wood, Marquez Veerman, Abilio Neves and Jordan Henderson. Oh, and just on Jordan Henderson, he actually triggered a 1-year contract extension, which I'm very happy about. I went to offer him a new contract and he wanted like 70 grand a week, so I thought we're just going to end up releasing him on a free. Completely forgetting that if he played 10 league games, he got an automatic 1-year extension, so he's here for next season, which is absolutely fantastic. And here we are. Monaco come out with a 4-4-1-1, a pretty defensive formation, all things said. Pretty similar lineup in terms of personnel. They've got Matazo in, who's a decent central midfielder. I think we've signed him on previous saves because he does develop quite nicely if he gets the game time. But no, where's that? That regen who's absolutely fantastic. It's not even on the bench, so hopefully an easy win. So there's only one other Champions League tie going on as we are playing this. We will keep an eye on that scoreline to see maybe a potential opponent in the next round. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We need to do the business today. It's FC Porto versus Red Bull Leipzig in that other tie. Red Bull Leipzig currently 1-0 up after the first leg. Highlight 16 minutes in, now corner for Monaco. Gonçalves manages to get it clear and Insfran brings it out. He finds David Ibrahim. He hasn't got a lot of support, but Jaros is there and acres of space on the right hand side. It's cleared by the Monaco defence. And now they have time to break. Goebbels. Oh, he absolutely does his man. They are level on aggregate. AS Monaco go 1-0 up. I'm not. Who was the central defender? We need to see him. I don't know what he was doing. Was it? It's Gonçalves. Oh wait, Gonçalves, you're better than this. He just... I mean, does that go underneath him or through him? I have no idea. Whichever way it is, Monaco get an early lead. Highlight now, Bentia with a free kick. Jaros is there, back post. And there's no suggestion of offside. A pretty simple, effective goal. Monaco completely too high. They do not track the runners here. Sebastian Jaros. And he gets in a little bit of space. And Areola cannot keep it out at his near post. His 11th goal of the season. A decent free kick by Bentia with the assist. And we're back level. 10 minutes to go before half time. There is another highlight. And it's Golovin who brings it out for Monaco. They're going down the left-hand side now. He hasn't got very many men in the box. And Mark Juric can bring it down calmly and play it out to Insfran on this left-hand side. He's driving forward. Nobody's coming out to meet him. And he takes a strike on. And that is why we signed him in the January transfer window. He isn't an end-game player. He isn't like one of the best players in the world. But he's extremely effective in the attributes that he needs. And as you can see here, he does the absolute business. This is a fantastic solo effort. And there's no way Areola's saying that. 2-1. And that is half time. We are 2-1 up. We are in control. 4-2 on aggregate. Barring a massive collapse, we should be through to the next round. In terms of the other fixtures, FC Porto have equalised going 1-0 up on the night and 1-1 on aggregate. Let's get the boys back out there and kick off for the second half. 56 minutes in now, and there is another highlight. It looks like, are we in possession? We're not. It is Monaco on the offensive. The ball's spread to the right-hand side for Ronnie Lopez, who drives in. Poor effort, really. It was always going wide. 60 minutes in now, we will look to make some changes. Gravenberch is not having the greatest game, and he's a little bit tired, so we'll get him off for Bert Jacobs. Free kick for Monaco. Ronnie Lopez takes it, hits the wall, but he manages to keep the ball in play, and they can build from here. Gwebels. Bert Jacobs comes in and gets a tasty challenge in, and we can break with Insfran down this left-hand side. He absolutely does his man. He drives inside, goes for goal again, almost makes it 3-1 in his second for the game. 70 minutes in now, we'll look to make another change. Carlos Julio will bring off for Abilio Neves. 70 minutes in, it is another highlight. We managed to cut out a pass in the midfield, and we have possession. Ibrahim drops deep, receives the ball from Yaros, gets dispossessed. Neither side wanting to keep possession right now. We're both just losing the ball in the middle of the park. Thankfully, we are in lose it again. That's about the fourth time the ball's turned over during this highlight. Fifth time, Ibrahim wins the ball. Insfran goes for goal. That's well wide. Bentieb with a free kick, plays a back post again. I think that's Yaros lurking on the left-hand side, as we did for the first goal. It's not actually, it's Bert Jacobs who drives inside. Ibrahim with a strike from deep. I thought that was going in. 5 minutes to go. We will look to make our final sub of the game. We'll get Jordan Henderson on in place of Bentieb, and we'll see out this final 5 minutes. Not the greatest game. We didn't play incredibly well, but barring any major disaster in these final 4 minutes, we should be through to the next round. Boschilla with the ball over the top for Ronnie Lopez. Monaco are in, and it's 2-2 on the night. One more goal for Monaco, and we are out. I think it's time to go cautious. I'm not watching the replay. Please just tick away. It's corner for us, Yaros. 20 seconds over time. Oh, ref, blow the full-time whistle. Aquino's in the box. It's cleared. Ref, where's the whistle? We have left. We are nearly a full minute over time, and we are dilly-dallying with the ball in the box. Antonio Carlos clears. Ibrahim drives us forward, loses the ball, and there we are. 94 minutes in, not 93. Brighton 2, Monaco 2, 4-3 on aggregate. Far closer than I was hoping for, but thankfully we have made it through to the next round. In the other tie, Porto ended up winning 3-0 on the night, beating Red Bull Leipzig 3-1 on aggregate. The rest of the fixtures in the Champions League are still to be played, so we'll continue on and we'll see who else makes it through. So we're about to play Chelsea at home in the Premier League. There is still a couple of fixtures to play in the Champions League, but as things stand so far, Man United are through, Benfica are through, would love to play Benfica. Brighton are of course through. Man City, Juventus is still to play, but it looks highly likely that Man City will be through in that tie. Borussia Dortmund actually beat Liverpool in the first leg, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, see how well that goes in the second leg. Real Madrid, Bayern still to play, and Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain have still to conclude their tie. The draw is until the 15th of March. We do have a Premier League tie in between then, so I'll just not show you the result. I'll show you that result in the next episode, and we will show the draw in today's episode. But on to today's matters, which is Chelsea at home in the Premier League. They are currently sit in 5th position. They are vying with Liverpool and potentially Manchester United and Spurs for that 4th place spot for the Champions League qualification. So it's a big game. We are at home. I'm pretty sure, did we struggle against them away from home? We did. It was 1-1, and it was a very, very late equaliser by Aquino. So, well, by no means is this a guaranteed win. Chelsea are still a decent side. A couple of changes for today's game, purely down to the risk of injury from some of our players. David Ibrahim is injured for today's game, so he won't be involved. Antonio Carlos in goal, Valentin, Nathan Wood, Mark Julich and Abilio Neves in the defence. Bentieb and Aquino in the centre. Veerman starts on the right-hand side over Sebastian Yaros. Bert Jacobs in the attack midfield over Gravenberch. Juan Insfran at the left-hand side, and Rodrigo Marquez starts up top in place of the injured David Ibrahim. So a pretty rotated side going into the game against Chelsea. We still have our big hitters, the likes of Yaros, Gravenberch, and even Doku can come on and make changes up top if needed. But the Chelsea side looks a lot different to what it usually is. Marcus Rashford up top. He always develops quite nicely on this game, and he looks absolutely fantastic here. Jadon Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, Solomon, Barella is always one of the best centre. I actually love this player. I think he's absolutely fantastic. Jorginho, Mbabu, John Souttar are all guys still in the Chelsea first 11. I'm surprised. I thought he wasn't going to get the game time, but turns out he is. Kieran Tierney, Harry Maguire, and Kepa. So I think it's two quite evenly matched teams in terms of player personnel. We'll see how we get on. We are shooting from right to left in this first half. Highlight now, Abilio Neves with a free kick, quite deep for us. Finds Aquino in the centre, who finds Veerman. Bert Jacobs drives through his man. Abilio Neves wasn't making the run. He probably should have been doing that. The ball goes to the back post. It's cleared by Chelsea, but only as far as Veerman. Hopefully we can build something between ourselves here. Abilio Neves down the left-hand side. Ball played in again. It's cleared only as far as Aquino. Goes for goal, but it goes just wide. Another highlight here, us in an advanced position once again. The ball falls to Rodrigo Marquez in the box. Aquino goes for a quite ambitious strike and it hits the defender. And Benty goes just wide with his. 32 minutes in now. There's another highlight. We are advanced, but we've given the ball away. And it is an opportunity for Chelsea to break. Jadon Sancho driving down the right-hand side for them. Tries to plant the ball in. Valentin with a really, really good defensive header. But they get the ball back in and Antonio Carlos keeps us in this game. It's not going great. Neither side really imposing themselves on this game. We've both had little opportunities. Chelsea have definitely come closest to getting the opening goal in the first 45. But we approach half-time. It is going to be 0-0. We need a better performance in the second half. We're retaining possession, just not really creating anything. 62 minutes in now. Nothing's really happening in this game. We are going to get Sebastian Jaros on that right-hand side. And Gravenberch in the attack and midfield role. Bringing on our two first teamers. And hope that they can make a bit of a difference. 75 minutes in, we finally get our first highlight of the second half. And we are currently in possession. Gravenberch picks up the ball in the centre and finds Insfran, who drives forward, finds Jaros. Great save by Kepa, but Sebastian Jaros, super sub, comes on, gets his 12th goal of the season and puts us 1-0 in front against Chelsea. That was a big, big moment. It hasn't been a great game, particularly the second half. Nothing really happened, but Insfran cutting in, lovely through ball. Great save by Kepa at first, but Jaros doesn't need the second time of asking. Well, he does need it, because then he scored it. 5 minutes to go or so. We'll look to make our final substitute of the game. Jolic is struggling out there. We have Gonçalves on the bench. We'll bring him on. Hopefully it doesn't weaken our defence too much and we'll manage to remain stable at the back. I'm not really too keen on making defensive substitutions, at least at centre-back, so late in the game. But the last thing we need is further injuries to complicate the rest of our season. And there we are. Brighton 1, Chelsea 0. A hard-fought victory. A deserved victory going by the match stats. But the game wasn't a great one. So after that result against Chelsea, we still sit 2 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the Premier League table and still have the 2 games in hand, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, before we finish this episode, we are going to get to the quarter-final draw of the Champions League. It's on the 15th of March, so we've got 5 days to go and 1 game in between, but I'll see you there. So we're at the day, it is quarter-final draw day. We can see who has made it through. So Man United, Benfica, Brighton, Man City, Liverpool ended up overturning that defeat against Borussia Dortmund. Porto, Bayern and PSG all make it through. So we'll click on automatic draw and we'll see who will face. Pretty much anybody here is going to give us a good game. I'd love to draw Porto. Give us Paris Saint-Germain, get Porto. Give us Benfica. I'll take Benfica, not Man United. Oh, Man United. Man United. Have we struggled against Man United this season? I think we did. I'm pretty sure we've drew against them already this season at home. I think it was. Where are they? Manchester United. So we'll beat them in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. That's something to talk about. But we did draw against them at home in the league after getting a man sent off, mind you. So it's maybe not the most difficult tie we could have asked for, but it's not easy by any means. Drawing any of the English teams is always going to be difficult. Liverpool, Man City have all causing us problems, along with Manchester United. But a decent draw. Liverpool are going to make it past Benfica. Bayern and Man City could be a very, very interesting game. Hopefully, Bayern can do us a favour there and knock out Manchester City. But, yeah, a reasonable draw. Looking forward to the next episode. It will be the Champions League quarterfinals, both legs against Manchester United. And, of course, we've got some fixtures in between, so we'll review them when it comes. But anyway, if you have enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like. And if you are enjoying my content, get yourself subscribed. But until next time, take it easy.